my channel. Today I have another motovlog for you. It's been seriously lovely weather here in the Netherlands, which probably means that we're going to get an absolutely terrible rainy summer, but it's beside the point. Anyway, yeah, but the weather, it's May now, early May actually, it's still the end of April even. But yeah, anyway, the weather has been absolutely lovely, like seriously amazing. Just it feels like summer. It's like 25 degrees Celsius outside now. I don't know how much it is Fahrenheit, but you know, if you use Fahrenheit in your country, just trust me, it's very, very, very nice. So yeah, I decided to go make use of that to make a nice ride. Now I gotta admit that after that's always the same thing, really. Always, like I've been riding motorcycles for like almost 2 years now, not more, but still. Whenever I've been abroad with a motorcycle, it always feels so, I don't know, underwhelming, I guess. The idea of riding in the Netherlands feels so underwhelming just because in the Netherlands there's always quite a bit of other traffic. There are no mountains and there are no roads with like lots of nice hairpins because we don't have mountains. So the best you can get here really is some tight roundabouts, and that's just not the same thing, is it? So yeah, I often find the idea of riding in the Netherlands underwhelming when I've just been abroad, just because the roads in other countries are just like, especially Germany, Luxembourg, Italy, those roads are so different and so much more beautiful from the point of view of, well, me, because those are the roads that I'm not used to rather than the just normal Dutch roads that I've known all my life. But still, whenever I do actually get out and just do a ride in the Netherlands, I really am always pleasantly surprised, because especially on Sunday morning, it is, well, it's not as quiet as, for example, the tiny roads in Germany, but it is actually, it's actually quite nice. Like, it's not that busy, it's not annoyingly busy, it's not people who are in a hurry, you don't get stuck in traffic jams, you know, that kind of thing, basically. Well, most of the time, at least on a Sunday morning. So yeah, this is really, really, really nice. And one thing I've really, really, really been meaning to do after the last training is to, because I just noticed on the last training that at first I was very careful and then I got more and more brave, and then I eventually just stopped being overly careful and started to just ride and have fun in the corners. But what I really need to do is practice more here in the Netherlands, and what I especially notice, and I guess that's a normal thing in winter because if it's dreary and cold, then it's just a lot less inviting to just go on a ride in your spare time if it's super chilly and you're just freezing. But yeah, it's, or raining, worse, raining. But what I end up doing through most of winter is, well, I just ride to work and then I ride back from work, and that's it. And then you just know the road. Like, for a start, most of it is highway, so that there's not a lot of nice tiny corners on the highway, obviously. But also I know the way, so there's literally nothing surprising. The few corners that are there, I take them 5 times a week. You know, and it's just it gets, well, riding the motorcycle is never boring to me, but it just gets so well known that there's also not much of a challenge anymore, and you don't think about those corners anymore because you know them so well. I could almost, theoretically, I wouldn't actually try it, but I could theoretically almost do those corners with my eyes closed because I know them so well. And I think it's really good for me, at least, to, you know, very regularly at least go do routes, just let my TomTom make routes for me that take me to places and just over roads, and, you know, roads with preferably nice corners, but roads that I don't know, so that just as well, just like when I'm abroad, I actually have to mind the road and look where I'm going, and I can't just mindlessly ride through it because I'm there every day. I don't know, I just feel like it's so much better, for me at least, to train myself in cornering with unknown roads rather than it is with known roads. So yeah, that's another reason to take more of these random rides. And something else I started doing, even though I, come to think of it, didn't do it today because I got stuck in a traffic jam and then I was in a hurry to get home. But anyway, what I'm planning on doing is to just, on more occasions, actually just for my own personal entertainment and training, to do a U-turn. I was trying to say it in Dutch, in English, but straatje keren. Yeah, there's no real like literal English translation for it, but the U-turn, because it's something I have terrible sense of direction, but I'm not that awful that I have to make a U-turn every day just to not get lost on my way to freaking work. So I don't do a U-turn very often at all, like ever, which means that on U-turns obviously, but also on tiny hairpin corners, which are sort of like U-turns, I'm not used to doing those because I basically never do them. So what I'm trying to do from, well, basically last weekend onwards, is to just regularly go to a place and do U-turns. Like there are some like buildings with just like offices and stuff quite close to my house. On Sunday morning, absolutely nobody is there and nobody lives close by enough to be bothered by me just, you know, riding around there for like 10 minutes and just making the U-turns, practicing the U-turns. Maybe if I'm feeling brave, try to do like an H shape and everything, all the things that I had to do when I got my motorcycle license, that sort of stuff. And to just practice there, because I really feel like it will do me a lot of good to just like just do it, because I notice when I don't overthink it, I can very easily make very, very tight corners. I'm just not very used to it, which is the reason really why I sometimes just sort of mess it up. Like I don't drop the bike or anything, I just get nervous because I overthink it, because I'm not used to it, and that's something that I really gotta work on. So yeah, I'm also planning on doing that, because that's the fun thing about a motorcycle. You can just keep practicing and you can just keep improving yourself. And the more you improve yourself, the more fun it gets, because the more control you have over your motorcycle, the more confident you are on your bike, the more fun it is. It really is true. So yeah, that's something I'm also actively working on, especially now the weather is better again, so I actually feel like going out of the house for fun. And obviously another reason for me, if you see my last vlog or listen to my last vlog at least, to really keep practicing at corners, is that in summer I will be going to the Dolomites, and there's a lot of hairpin corners there. That's kind of the whole point of that trip, and I just really want to practice beforehand, just so I don't want to be more nervous for the hairpins there than I need to be. So if I already practiced as much as I can here in the Netherlands, even though we don't have mountains, then that's just a good thing. And also, just, well, like I said at the beginning, the thought of Dutch roads is always very underwhelming to me when I compare it in my head to Germany and Luxembourg and stuff like that. But once you're there, once you're here, like you can see it in the video, the roads actually, they're different, of course. There's no mountains, there's no hairpins. Nevertheless, in its own way, it's also really beautiful, and the roads are also a lot of fun. And just in general, riding the motorcycle on like a not busy day is just so much more fun than just a daily work commute. It just is. And it's just fun to see new places and just the nature in springtime. It's so vibrant. Just the smell of flowers in people's gardens and in trees and everything. It's really, really, really nice. I mean, obviously I also enjoy sitting in the backyard with a good book. More on that later. Because that's basically the last 1/3 of this vlog. But the motorcycle, wow. Ever since I got this license for the motorcycle, it's like my favorite way of enjoying springtime and autumn and winter and summer and really any season is on the bike. Springtime and the backyard and what I've been doing a lot. One of my other favorite things to do when it's nice weather, spring and summer, is to sit in my backyard, watch the birds and read books. Currently I finally gotten around to reading. I've been wanting to read those books for ages really. But I finally actually downloaded them all on my e-reader. And now I'm reading the entire Witches, Mayfair Witches trilogy by Anne Rice. I think I'm already on the third book. I'm not quite sure because, well, it's literally one unit of all three books, so I'm not entirely sure where one book ends and the next begins, quite frankly. But I'm pretty sure I'm on the last book, and it's really, really fascinating. It has to do with history and with like curses and stuff like that, and the supernatural and all the sort of stuff that I love. It's not exactly a horror book, but it's also not exactly not a horror book. It's mostly history and like fictional history also, but it's really interesting. The characters are just really fascinating, and if you like horror history-ish fantasy stuff, it's very hard to describe. If it seems interesting to you, please read it. It's really, really well written. It's also pretty old, so maybe if you like that kind of stuff, you've probably already read it. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend it. But yeah, anyway, we're almost at the end of this vlog, so I'm already going to say goodbye now and just let you enjoy the birds. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button. It would really help me out because it makes YouTube suggest my videos more often to new people. And if you want to not miss any of my future videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Yeah, for now, I hope you have a very nice day and I hope to see you next time. Bye!